First contact on Valoria. Commander Arya Nakamura adjusted her diplomatic uniform for the 7th time, wondering how she'd become Earth's last hope for survival. The gleaming shuttle descended through Valoria's atmosphere, revealing floating cities that defied physics, suspended in violet skies like jewels on invisible thread. "Remember, Commander," said Dr. Chen through her earpiece, "Earth's oceans won't survive another decade without their quantum purification technology. This alliance is non-negotiable." "So no pressure then," Arya muttered as the landing platform approached, a structure that resembled crystallized light rather than solid architecture. The welcoming committee awaited, a group of tall, purple-skinned beings with sweeping ears that seemed to express emotions independent of their faces. Their ambassador had explained that Valorians considered Earth primitive, barely worth acknowledging, but desperate times had forced both species to consider unlikely alliances. "Welcome to Sovereign Valoria," announced a herald in carefully practiced standard. "Princess Nylara graces you with her presence." The crowd parted, and Arya's practiced diplomatic smile froze. Princess Nylara moved with fluid grace, her deep purple skin shimmering with subtle bioluminescence. Her eyes, amber with flecks of gold, assessed Arya with undisguised curiosity. Her long ears, adorned with intricate silver jewelry, tilted forward in what Arya had been briefed meant interest. "Commander Nakamura of Earth," Arya bowed precisely as protocol demanded. "I bring greetings and hopes for mutual cooperation." Cooperation. Nylara's voice carried musical undertones that made standards sound almost beautiful. An interesting concept from a species that cooperated their oceans into extinction. The Valorian officials gasped at the breach of diplomatic etiquette, but Arya felt something unexpected, laughter bubbling up. "Fair observation, Your Highness," she replied. "We're hoping to learn from our mistakes before we make our planet completely uninhabitable. How's your quantum crystal degradation crisis going?" Nylara's ears shot upright in surprise, then relaxed into what might have been amusement. "They didn't tell me Earth's ambassador would be honest. That makes this tedious exercise marginally more interesting. I find honesty saves time. And according to your scientists and ours, both our worlds are running out of exactly that." A slight smile curved Nylara's lips. "Walk with me, Commander. The Council insists we maintain appearance of formal negotiations for at least 14 cycles, but perhaps we might actually accomplish something meaningful in the process." They proceeded along pathways that seemed to materialize beneath their feet, made of some crystalline substance that hummed with energy. As they walked, Arya noticed something strange. The crystals brightened wherever they stepped together. "Is that normal?" she asked, nodding toward the glowing footprints they left behind. Nylara's ears twitched. "No, actually, it isn't." She studied Arya with renewed interest. "The quantum matrix responds to compatible energy signatures. It's never responded to an off-worlder before." "Compatible how exactly?" "That remains to be seen," Nylara replied, her eyes meeting Arya's with unexpected warmth. "But I suspect these negotiations might prove more significant than either of us anticipated." Around them, the crystal palace hummed with increasing intensity, as if agreeing with her assessment. The ancient technology waking to something new, something unexpected, something neither human nor Valorian had planned for. "I look forward to finding out," Arya said, feeling for the first time since accepting this impossible mission that perhaps there was hope for both their worlds after all. Quantum Resonance. 3 days of formal negotiations had established a pattern. Arya would arrive at the appointed meeting chamber where Nylara waited, surrounded by council members who recorded every word and gesture. The political theater felt increasingly hollow as the strange connection between them grew stronger. The crystal pathways in the East Gardens brightened so much yesterday that maintenance had to adjust the quantum dampeners, Nylara said, as they walked along a floating observation deck that offered views of Valeria's 3 moons. It's never happened before. Is it dangerous? Arya asked, watching how the ambient light played across Nylara's purple skin, giving her an ethereal glow. Not dangerous, unprecedented. Nylara's ears tilted in what Arya now recognized as contemplation. The ancient texts speak of quantum resonance between compatible beings, but it was thought to be myth rather than science. Below them, the city sparkled with lights that defied conventional energy principles. Crystal spires channeled power through the floating metropolis in spiraling patterns that reminded Arya of DNA strands. The beauty almost made her forget the gravity of her mission. On Earth, we have myths about soulmates, people destined to find each other. Is that what you mean by quantum resonance? Something similar, though less romantic and more scientific. The founders who created our quantum technology theorized that certain energy signatures could harmonize at molecular levels, creating reactions that amplified the baseline power. And you think that's happening between us? The evidence grows difficult to ignore. Nylara gestured toward the pathway behind them, which glowed with increasing intensity wherever they had walked together. The Council is disturbed. They've spent generations believing off-worlders inferior, particularly humans. No offense intended. None taken. We haven't exactly proven otherwise with our environmental record. Nylara moved closer, her voice dropping. There's something I need to show you, without the Council observers. Arya felt her pulse quicken. Is that allowed? No, Nylara's smile held mischief. But I am still princess, despite the Council's attempts to control me. Come tonight, after the 3rd moonrise. The guard rotation creates a 7-minute window. Later that night, Arya slipped through the crystal gardens, following the map Nylara had secretly transferred to her communication device. The floating palace was eerily beautiful in the moonlight, sections becoming transparent, then opaque as light conditions shifted. She found Nylara waiting beside a small structure that resembled a gazebo made of living crystal. The princess wore simpler attire than her formal robes, silver fabric that complemented her purple skin. You came. Nylara's ears perked forward with pleasure. Was there doubt? The Council would have advised strongly against it. Some believe I'm manipulating you, others fear you're manipulating me. Most simply disapprove of our interactions becoming anything beyond formality. And what do you believe? Arya asked, stepping closer. I believe this. Nylara took Arya's hand, and the contact sent electricity racing through her nerves. The crystal gazebo erupted with light, pulsing in harmony with their heartbeats. The surrounding garden responded, flowers unfurling, and streams of water forming complex patterns in the air. This is supposed to be impossible, Nylara whispered, her amber eyes wide with wonder. The quantum core responds to us together in ways it hasn't responded in centuries. Is that good or bad? Both. Nylara didn't release her hand. The Obsidian faction, the conservative council members, see any change as threat. They've blocked all my attempts at innovation, insisting tradition alone will save us. But tradition is failing. Our quantum technology is degrading, and no one remembers how to truly repair it. Arya felt the warmth of Nylara's hand in hers and understood with sudden clarity. That's why the marriage alliances. Why they keep pushing potential consorts on you. They're hoping someone else has the answers. Yes, but none have created resonance like this. Nylara gestured at the brilliantly glowing crystals around them. Not even close. From the shadows, a voice interrupted. Fascinating demonstration, princess. Quite the light show you and your pet human have created.
They turned to see Counselor Vex, his dark robes absorbing light, his ears flat against his skull in obvious displeasure. "This private meeting violates protocol. The Council will be informed." "The Council sent you to spy," Nylara countered, her ears shifting to a position Arya recognized as defiance. "You fear what you don't understand, Vex. The resonance between Commander Nakamura and myself offers hope." "It offers contamination," Vex snarled. "Humans destroyed their world. Why would we let them influence ours?" His hand moved to a device at his belt. "Perhaps this experiment should end before it progresses further." The air crackled with tension as Nylara stepped protectively in front of Arya. The crystal cores around them pulsed faster, responding to their emotions, neither woman knowing that by morning the entire floating city would be at risk because of their connection.
Sabotage and freefall. Morning brought chaos. Arya woke to alarms, screaming through the diplomatic quarters. Lights flickered as the crystal floors beneath her feet vibrated with unstable energy. Her communication device flashed with emergency protocols. "Commander," Dr. Chen's voice crackled through, "the city's quantum stabilizers are failing. The Valorian engineers can't explain it." Arya raced toward the central chamber where emergency meetings were being held. The corridors pulsed with erratic energy. Crystal walls that had been solid now phased between states of matter as frightened officials rushed past her. She found Nylara surrounded by arguing counselors, her purple skin pale with strain, her ears rigid with tension. "This is your doing," Counselor Vex accused, pointing at Arya. "The resonance disruption began after your clandestine meeting." "That's impossible," Nylara countered. "The resonance strengthens the quantum field, it doesn't weaken it." The chamber shuddered violently, sending several counselors sprawling. A massive crack appeared in the ceiling, crystalline shards raining down. "The primary stabilizer is failing," announced a harried engineer. "We have minutes at most before catastrophic failure." "Evacuate the city," Nylara commanded. "Begin emergency protocols." "There's no time," the engineer said. "The transportation nodes are already offline." Arya moved to Nylara's side. "Could someone have deliberately destabilized the system?" Nylara's eyes widened. "The maintenance access. We need to check the core." They ran together through corridors that increasingly defied physics. Parts of the floor simply vanished, forcing them to leap across gaps that opened into the sky thousands of feet below. The city was literally coming apart around them. "There," Nylara pointed to a pulsing chamber ahead, the quantum core. They entered a vast spherical room where streams of energy converged into a central crystal the size of a small car. But instead of the steady blue glow Arya had seen in briefing materials, this core flickered erratically, pulses of angry red shooting through it. "Sabotage," Nylara hissed, pointing to devices attached to the crystal's base. "Obsidian faction technology. Those are quantum disruptors." "Can we remove them?" "If we get close enough, yes, but the field instability." As if to emphasize her point, the room tilted sharply. The floor beneath them began to dissolve into particles of light. "Jump!" Arya shouted, grabbing Nylara's hand as the floor disappeared entirely. They leapt toward a maintenance platform that seemed still solid, but it too began disintegrating. The entire chamber was collapsing around them, revealing open sky below. Arya's military training took over. She spotted a control panel on a nearby wall, still intact, and pushed off from dissolving crystal, launching herself toward it, Nylara's hand still firmly in hers. They slammed against the wall, fingers scrabbling for purchase as gravity seemed to shift around them. "If I can reach the emergency protocols," Nylara stretched toward the panel, her fingers dancing across symbols. The city lurched again, and Arya felt her grip slipping. "Nylara!" Their eyes met, a moment of perfect understanding passing between them. Then they were falling, plummeting through collapsing reality as the quantum fields that had held the city aloft for millennia failed. Wind rushed past them as they tumbled through open air. Arya pulled Nylara close, wrapping her arms around the princess as they fell. The ground, thousands of feet below, approached with terrifying speed. "I can't believe this is how it ends," Arya shouted over the wind. It's not over yet. Nylara reached for something at her belt, a small device that unfolded into a complex geometric shape. Hold me tighter. Arya complied, pulling Nylara firmly against her. The contact between their bodies triggered an immediate response from the device. It glowed with increasing intensity, emitting a field of energy that enveloped them both. Their descent slowed, though they continued to fall. The sensation was like moving through thick liquid rather than air. Quantum dampener, Nylara explained. Emergency technology. But it wasn't designed for two. Below them, the city was now in full collapse, sections breaking away, spinning into the void. Fields of energy rippled outward as ancient technology failed catastrophically. There, Nylara pointed toward a small platform that seemed more stable than the rest. If we can reach it, I might be able to initialize the emergency protocols. They guided their controlled fall toward the platform, which seemed to be attached to some kind of secondary system. The moment they touched down, Arya felt the resonance between them surge. The platform stabilized beneath their feet, glowing with renewed energy. It's responding to us, Nylara said with wonder. The quantum resonance is actually strengthening this section. In the distance, they saw dark-robed figures moving through the chaos, the Obsidian faction members coordinating the city's destruction. They really would destroy everything rather than change. Nylara's voice broke with emotion. Arya took her hand, feeling the now familiar surge of energy between them. Then let's show them what change can really do. Around them, the platform began to expand, the quantum field stabilizing, growing stronger, feeding off the resonance between them, a bubble of order in the midst of chaos. Their eyes met, understanding passing between them. This connection wasn't just diplomatic, it was something neither of them had expected, something powerful enough, perhaps, to save them all.
Confession amid crisis. As the quantum bubble expanded around them, Arya and Nylara worked frantically to extend the stabilization field. The platform hummed with energy, responding to their combined presence in ways that defied Valorian science. The resonance between us. Nylara's fingers flew across the control panel. It's actually repairing the quantum matrix, strengthening it. In the distance, Obsidian faction members regrouped, their dark silhouettes moving against the backdrop of destruction. One raised a weapon, pointing it toward their sanctuary. Down! Arya tackled Nylara as energy blasts sizzled overhead. She rolled to her feet, drawing the defensive weapon she'd been issued. Stay behind me. Together is better, Nylara countered, pulling out her own device. The resonance makes us stronger. They stood side by side as attackers converged. The air crackled with energy discharges as they fought back quantum fields rippling around them with each coordinated movement. Their natural rhythm felt practiced, as if they'd fought together for years. Between defensive maneuvers, Arya expanded the stabilization field, gradually reclaiming sections of the falling city. Each piece they secured glowed with renewed strength, fed by the inexplicable connection between them. During a brief respite, Nylara turned to Arya, her amber eyes intense. This connection between us, it's not just quantum resonance, is it? Arya felt heat rise to her cheeks. No, I don't think it is. I've rejected dozens of potential matches. Nylara's ears tilted forward in vulnerability. Yet with you, everything feels right, like finding a piece of myself I didn't know was missing. On Earth, we'd call this terrible timing, Arya smiled, touching Nylara's cheek gently, feeling the soft warmth of her purple skin. Confessing feelings during a battle? If not now, when? Nylara leaned forward, pressing her lips against Arya's. The contact sent cascades of energy through the platform beneath them. The quantum field pulsed outward in concentric waves of light, stabilizing larger sections of the city. They separated, breathless, as the implications became clear. "Did you see that?" Arya whispered. Nylara nodded. "Our connection, it's the key to everything." Worlds united. 3 weeks later, Arya stood by Nylara on the central platform of the restored city. The floating metropolis hummed with renewed energy, quantum crystals glowing with vitality not seen in generations. "The council is ready," Nylara said, her hand finding Arya's with practiced ease.
They entered the chamber together, heads held high. The Valorian Council, minus its Obsidian faction members, now imprisoned for treason, awaited them. "The quantum resonance studies are complete," announced Chief Scientist Thari. "The harmonic connection between Princess Nylara and Commander Nakamura has revitalized our entire system. Efficiency has increased by 300%. The degradation has not only stopped, it's reversing." Murmurs filled the chamber as Thari continued. "Furthermore, we've identified the resonance patterns. This technology can be adapted to Earth's ocean purification needs without depleting our resources. A sustainable solution for both worlds." "Then the terms of our alliance are clear," Nylara stated, her voice carrying authority that silenced the room. "Earth will receive the quantum purification technology they need, and Valoria will gain stability and new purpose." "And what of your personal arrangement?" asked a senior counselor. "The resonance requires your continued connection." Arya stepped forward. "I've requested permanent assignment as Earth's ambassador to Valoria, a position I'm told has been approved. And I have selected Commander Nakamura as my consort," Nylara announced, her ears held high in confidence. "As is my right under law. Our personal union will symbolize the alliance between our worlds." Later that evening, they stood together on the private balcony of the royal quarters, watching Valoria's 3 moons rise. The city below sparkled with renewed life. "Ambassador and consort," Arya said, wrapping her arms around Nylara from behind. "Not bad for a diplomatic mission that was supposed to fail." Nylara turned in her embrace, her purple skin luminescent in the moonlight. "I was prepared to reject you like all the others," her ears twitched with amusement. "The universe had other plans." "I'm glad it did," Arya whispered, pressing her forehead against Nylara's. "Who would have thought quantum physics could be so romantic?" Science and love. Perhaps not so different after all. Both require harmony, resonance, and the courage to trust what seems impossible. Their lips met again, and beneath their feet, the quantum crystals pulsed with light, spreading outward in waves that would eventually reach across stars, connecting 2 worlds that had found hope in the most unexpected of places.